Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
Well, my day wasn't going that good today. I had a couple of setbacks on my plans, both for the radio and print. And then you came to me about a half hour ago and told me that the Pioneer Press had a story that Dougie Hennes had died this morning at age 63 out of nowhere.
Yes.
A guy I worked with he was at the Pioneer Press most of the time I was there, at least a good share of it, city editor, when I left there in 88, a good guy. Then he ended up over at St. Thomas, and he went to, I've done a lot of St. Thomas football games in the Carusa era, and even though Dougie was in kind of like the whole communications for the university, he also did football, and he helped with the football, and he was at every one of their football games. And this is a shocker. As I said, he's a in shape guy that with no apparent physical problems, and he was found dead this morning at home at age 63. So that's a kick in the shins right there, man. When you told me that, it was one of those stunned disbelief ones because, as I said, only 63 years old.
Well, I knew that you knew him, and I knew that Joe did. And I had sent Joe a text, and Joe was shocked and saddened by that, saying, you know not the hour. But I had minor dealings with him. I knew he was a Garage Logic fan and Sports Talk fan, and but that's just 63. It must have been his ticker, huh?
Yeah,
because they said he felt fine. He was at work.
He was
yesterday.
He was at work yesterday, but he died at home this morning, right?
Yeah, it's just
a shocker. And everyone who, people who attended St. Thomas, lots and lots of students who went through the journalism school over there got to know him. He was in the communications, and a lot of I tweeted it out and get a lot of reaction from local people in the journalism field who are very shook up by this. So that's a kick in the shins.
So what you were complaining
there
about before I told you, your day is okay. It's
it's
as bad as you thought.
It's
grand scheme of things.
It's better. Yeah, it's true. You know what? I can read you this quote. I took this quote over because we all love Greg Popovich, the coach of the San Antonio Spurs, and he's had the Kawhi Leonard situation, Kawhi not playing, Kawhi insisting he should be traded, a bunch of other things that went wrong with him with the San Antonio Spurs this year. And he did a session yesterday with the media down there after he traded Kawhi Leonard to Toronto. And somebody asked Popovich, he said, he was asked about everything he's endured over this last season, and the word endured was used. And he says, when you say we've endured, this is basketball. We're playing a child's game and getting paid for it. If you look at what's going on in the world, there are billions of people enduring, and we aren't enduring anything. So
that's a good quote.
So what I was enduring earlier today, I don't feel as burdened by as I was.
Pop is really impossible not to root for.
Because he's, but you know what? When you're asking him a question, you want to phrase it just so. Don't leave that opening for him to make fun of you, with the question you ask him, such of using.
Don't be too clever.
Yeah, well, just say, boy, there's been a lot of goofy stuff going on. Maybe goofy. Don't use endured or you've suffered through. in sports. Don't use that with Pop.
Well, that's how we got the great soundbite from your guy Ratto. When he just simply asked about, was it an injury to a player or it was a playoff performance, and Pop just attacked him, and Ray went, "Okay, thank you."
Got it. Yep, appreciate it.
Okay,
talk to you later.
Thank you. Yeah, see you later. That's the way you do it. That's when that happens, you gotta kind of
know when to get out.
You got to take that whack upside the head and know you'll get them the next time. Like if you're trying to say ophthalmologist and it doesn't come out.
It happens.
Right. It doesn't come out. It comes out in like 14 different syllables instead of ophthalmologist.
I think more what screwed you up wasn't ophthalmologist, as you tried to add amateur ophthalmologist to it together. That's what really threw you off. I
definitely choked on ophthalmologist. So. It's because I can say ophthalmologist normally better than Thur, right?
Right.
Yes. 4-letter word as opposed to however many there are in ophthalmologists. So
amazed at the number of amateur ophthalmologists in the Twin Cities in the last year.
That's easy for you to say.
That's pretty good.
You know what? You know what makes Sid crafty at 98?
What?
He's asking a question. He'd never try to say ophthalmologist.
No.
Eye doctor. He'd say eye doctor.
How's the eye doctor?
If I'd only said how many amateur eye doctors there are in the Twin Cities, it would have been nothing. It would have been. You wouldn't
trying to be too clever.
Wouldn't have this quote.
Yes, that's true. Sometimes you use. You use the simpler word. That's
my mode of operation for sure. I can tell you as a Cretan grad, I'm not burdened with a complex.
It is funny when you see sports writers and suddenly you go along and you run across a word and you say, "Oh, he got the thesaurus out." He was looking for something a little bit different. The guys who were really good at that were the Coen brothers. They could use that alternate word, like. Instead of calling him a pedophile, I called him a pederast.
Pederast.
Which made us all have to look up what pederast. We assumed it meant pedophile,
right.
But I had never used or even seen pederast.
That guy can roll, man.
Let me ask
but
you.
He's a pervert, dude.
Where are you on the currently, you do not, the young people, the youth, do not space twice after a period. Why are we losing that?
Twice. I never did.
Like on Twitter or on Facebook.
Oh, you mean they
don't?
Well,
you finish a sentence, space twice.
I always have spaced once, but
really?
Well, I mean, there's always a. You mean, in other words, there's no space?
No, there's only one space instead of two spaces.
Well,
after a period, I was always taught when you start that next sentence. Space bar twice.
If you do that on most of the computers, you end up with a new paragraph. So you might not want to do that. I don't know.
And you only get 140 characters on Twitter.
So that's not a change. I thought that was a good
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's 280
One of the great improvements in America, we haven't had many, but one thing Donald Trump did.
Yes.
He increased Twitter from 140 characters to 280. I give him credit for that.
He's to be commended for that.
That's right. He did that because they got sick of having the Trump tweets that just ran out of, ended.
Right.
And he just keep hacking. And
we need more.
Get to 140, so they had to make it longer.
We need more so he can screw himself over more.
Hot rumor, by the way, today, CNN kind of speculating that he might be ready to fire Robert Mueller, which would, boy, that
give him
would,
his presidential pardon away from firing.
How much chaos would that cause? Oh, my goodness.
No, he's in so far right now.
Well, he probably figures this is the time. He probably figures I might as well do it right now and let the whole thing blow over all simultaneously. But I still can't believe it's going to happen. We are done playing the British Open on this. I said if I went to a golf course and paid green fees, and they had these fairways, I'd say, I want my money back.
Yeah,
there's no grass out here, but that's the way, in England, in Scotland, they have watering on the greens and watering on the tee boxes, but the rest of it, whatever Mother Nature wants to do, that's what it's going to do. And they haven't had, Zagota tell us they haven't had rain there for over a month. And usually they get it almost daily.
Doesn't that make for a pretty hard playing surface at that point?
Well, it does, and it also makes for the ball running about 400 yards. They're hitting 400-yard drives routinely. Dustin Johnson hit one 408 today. But it's a big advantage. It's a big advantage for Tiger because he never has to hit his driver as long as he can keep the driver out of his hands. I think he ended up 2 under or 1 under. He's tied for 32nd or something like that.
Oh, he's laying in the weeds.
He's been laying in the weeds now since about 5 years. So, by the way, the guy tied for second, Erik van Rooyen, a South African, he played for the Gophers from 2009 to 2012.
Really?
So, yeah.
So we have somebody to root for.
Sure, why not?
Or is he a one-day wonder?
Well, we'll talk about that when we get back. Boy, what a mess we got in here today trying to organize the hard-hitting Ride with Racy from 4 to 6 here. We got
the fixer doesn't get flustered. The fixer will set it out, line it up, and it's going to be good to go.
Well, we had a guy named Clinton Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Going to come in. He's one of the freestyle motorcycle guys from the X Games.
X Games, yeah, that's in town.
He's done a lot of medals. He's won a lot of medals. He's an Aussie. They really love their motorcycles.
Plus, a great to listen
Everything
to.
was great. He was going to come in at 4:30. You were going to be gone, so you couldn't do your Aussie accent.
Yeah.
That'd be helpful. And lo and behold, he got injured in practice today. So I don't know. Hopefully, it's just a skin knee or something. But Clinton won't be able to make it.
Well, if it's a skin knee, those guys don't get out of action for a skin knee.
No. I'm saying hopefully it's a skin knee.
It's something minor. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's something minor. All we were told is he was injured. So we're not happy about that.
No, you should be able to pick up a phone and just dial up and say, "Who are you, mate?" Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello,
he
friend.
would appreciate you.
Now, remind me, Pat.
You're doing some imitation. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's an Australian or a New Zealander.
Was it the X Gamers? Was it an X Gamers guy that we recorded a year or two ago? And he was having a bit of a laugh with you. Remember him?
I can't remember that. No,
because you would
My
ask a question.
questions were too idiotic,
and he would just say, "Yeah." Don't you remember that?
I try to forget the really bad ones.
Oh,
but it was so because he was having such a carefree attitude with it. You were enjoying it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Well, must have just been baked up.
All I know is that Judd and I went to the X Games last year to do our Saturday show.
Oh, how'd that go?
And there have never been two bigger idiots when it came to the X Games.
What are you doing?
We kept saying, they kept telling us there'll be a guest there at such and such a time, and I think the people came over and they looked, and they saw these two guys with these blank looks on their face, and they turned around and left. It didn't work out real well.
Sometimes those are the fun times, though, when you kind of look at your.
But we've
radio
locked
partner
this
and say,
thing up,
what
for 2 more years at least, or they've signed a long-term deal here.
So we go here. I mean, it must be well attended if they keep coming back.
Well, there's only been once, so it must have been good enough.
Yeah, right.
It must have been
fine.
one. I think nationally the attendance kind of slipped a little bit. But it's not the same having it indoors and soaring. As remember those photos when they were having it in San Francisco?
Yeah,
and the guys would be up in the air and the water would be in the back. You could see San Francisco would be in the back. A little more dramatic, but what the hell?
Now, Minneapolis.
I'm sure they're having a fine time.
It's going to be X Games Saturday. Luke Bryan.
That's right, at Target Field.
Target Field. I'm going to that.
On Saturday night?
Yes.
Will he pack it in?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, because he's got Sam Hunt. And I have to be careful.
Sam Hunt.
Did you see how long I paused, by the way, when I just
Thank
to be
God
sure? I don't even trust myself.
Thank God his name's not Mike.
Yeah. Yes. His brother chose not to follow him in his profession.
Right.
He wanted to stay off the stage.
Mike did not. He didn't want everybody making fun of him.
So there's but it's going to be Pat. And isn't there? I thought there was one other event.
Well, I don't know, but the Twins had a concert, right? The same night as the Basilica thing.
Oh,
wasn't? No, maybe not. What was something else was good? There was
Basilica Block
the
Party.
Basilica Block Party was over July 4th.
Yeah, it was the weekend
and the
after.
Twins weren't here, right?
The
That
Twins were
is
not
They
here.
were Twins were here for Tampa Bay. Maybe I'm wrong. I was thinking that there was a concert next to the concert at the Basilica. Maybe somebody at Target Center. I don't know, but I thought there was a concert downtown.
No,
right?
because the Twins would have been in Milwaukee. Because the 4th of July, weren't they on the road still?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been. And they had two old-timey bands that packed that place. What was the
Well, they're doing Def Leppard and the Eagles, but I don't think that's till
No,
later.
there was another one.
All right.
I was shocked. I thought they might have drawn like 4,000 people, and they had 30,000
I'm
or
going to look
something.
up Target Field concert.
Yeah, earlier this year.
Well, I know they had more than they normally do. That's why we did the Town Ball Classic so early this year, because they had a lot of concerts this summer.
Well, anywho, so
it'll be hopping. Downtown Minneapolis will be hopping.
And right now, there's so damn much construction.
Well, that's the other thing.
The traffic is brutal.
We're just going
Brutal.
to take the light rail.
I complained
Way
to
to
you
go.
when I got here, but what amazes me is even in rainy conditions like this morning, people are still texting like mad behind the wheel. They don't care. Nobody seems to care.
Nope. And it's not going to change. And even though there's those laws are already on the books, people don't. I don't understand the dismissiveness of. I just don't care. I really need to tell someone I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. What
I got
the
to
hell?
update Insta.
I mean, think about
You're going to
that.
have when they're building these places, even on the freeways, you're going to have the pull off to text lane or some damn thing.
Like
you're
the
gonna have to have,
the rest.
yeah,
the rest
you're going to have
areas.
the text spot or something like that.
Oh,
You're gonna
Jimmy
have to do
Buffett and the Eagles.
it. Yeah, when?
That was Saturday, June 30th at Target Field.
Whatever they call the Eagles, that must have been it. Was the block party the same time?
I think the block party was. It might have been.
Block
It might have
party
been.
was July 6th, 7th.
Okay, I'm wrong then. Okay, I'm wrong. I thought there was another concert. Maybe Target Center had one right next door.
So it would have been probably the next weekend.
Holy cow! So they still have Luke Bryan. They have Def Leppard and Cheap Trick on the 27th of July.
Is
And they
the
have-
mayor gone?
I don't think so.
He likes
I thought
his.
the mayor was going to a Cheap Trick.
He likes Cheap Trick.
And they have Zach Brown Band on August 10th. My God, they're going to destroy that outfield.
Well, they don't have to worry about having it ready for October, so that's okay.
Why is
Hey,
he going
now.
to Cheap Trick? They've got like 2 songs. Give me a break.
Oh, he probably won't.
What is it? Surrender.
I'm
and
not
I
saying
Want
he
You,
will
Want Me.
go, but he likes Cheap Trick, right?
Yeah,
he
he
likes
does.
1 or 2 songs.
Yeah.
Can you play that first?
Yeah, then I get the hell out of
I
here.
got to get home.
Get the hell
He's
out of
already
here.
looking
Don't
at his
save
watch.
it for the end because I'll be long gone.
He's like Nick Mancini. Once he gets there, he's already looking how he's going to leave
I
early.
went to a Van Morrison concert with him once, and he stayed to the end because Van did an hour and 10 minutes of complete indifference. We went to Elton John. He did 3 hours. Great.
Yep.
Couple of weeks later, they had Van Morrison there. There might have been somewhere in the world he would have rather not been.
Okay.
But I think that entertaining Minnesotans for an hour and 10 minutes was right there near the top.
Didn't
Doesn't
quite
he
work the
just,
crowd.
he's kind of seems like a jackass, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Such?
But his music is good. Yeah, you're talking about Joe.
We're
or
talking about Van. We're
Oh, okay.
talking about Van here now.
Or both.
In this case, let's clarify. We better get to Brucey.
We will. Sports Talk will return. Right now, we've got Bruce Vail waiting with his Your Money Now report. Comes to us courtesy of Owatonna's own Federated Insurance. Here's the professional finance man, Bruce Vail.
Hey, don't forget the Flame, another Cheap Trick hit.
The Flame? I'm going to find
Could
that
you
for when
hum
we
a
come
few
back.
bars?
That was after Budokan. That was a couple of years after.
Okay.
We had a not so good day in the stock market today. Renewed trade tensions weighed on investor sentiment a bit. Stocks were lower at the market close. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 134 points, snapping a 5-day winning streak. The Nasdaq Composite lost 29 points, and the S&P 500 fell 11. The medical testing giant LabCorp is dealing with a broad cyber attack. The company company, which processes millions of blood and other diagnostic tests each week, said a ransomware attack hit one of its genetic testing units over the weekend, and the impact spread in the ensuing days. With ransomware, attackers lock up files and other data, demanding payment to release them. LabCorp said so far there's no indication that any data was breached. And Facebook said it will start removing misinformation that could spark violence, a response to mounting criticism that the flow of rumors on its platform has led to physical harm to people in countries around the world. I'm Bruce Vail with your Money Now on 1500 ESPN.
Car fire! Woo-hoo-hoo! This one's sponsored by Indeed, and we've got one burning to the ground, eastbound 694. It's right around Edgerton. That would be between the 35E and 35E in the Vadnais Heights, Little Canada area. It doesn't look like the fire department is on the scene there, although locals and first unit, they're all there. Everybody's blocking the right lane, so get ready for that mess. Eastbound 694, approaching northbound 35E. Are you hiring? With Indeed, you can post a job in minutes, set up screener questions, and zero the flames out, and actually getting rid of all the fun. It's eastbound 694 in Vadnais Heights, right before northbound 35E. She's smoking big time now. You see it in there,
Patrick?
Patrick?
Sir? What kind of vehicle?
Charred.
A charge, yeah.
You can't tell.
Kenny, do you know if Mommy's all right?
Mommy's all right, Daddy's all right. They just seem a little strange. Indonesia junk that's going round. Wow.
This is our little Cheap Trick song here.
Okay, that's good. One of their two hits.
Is this?
Yes. This is the other one Joe likes.
You know what doesn't get nearly as much publicity since the cheating, no good scumbag Lance Armstrong stopped participating? The Tour de France. Yeah, I just was clicking channels and said, "Oh, that's on."
Did you guys see the tweet relating to the Tour de France where the big mob of bikers is going all in a row, and then there's a guy that jumped over them off of a cliff simply to get social media attention?
Oh, did he kill himself?
No. It was they were obviously in a mountainous area, and he jumped his bike over the group of them, and his buddy was filming it.
So, Patrick, you're saying maybe the world knows that the bicycle riders now have been exposed as the frauds that they are?
No, I think we just thought
Lance
has the great cancer recovery story, and even though he was arrogant and we all kind of hated him, we loved him because he was a Yank, and then it turned out he was a cheater.
Did he, in fact, have cancer?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
What a thing to ponder.
You know what? You got to really be a self-promoter if you're going to give up a testicle or two just to say it was testicular, was it? Or was it? Yes. What was it?
It was testicular.
What do you mean 1 or 2? Like he's got 5?
I don't know. Well, he grew a couple with all the stuff he was taking.
Fortunately, they're on his neck.
Yeah, that EPO causes you to grow 1 or 2 more.
Gotcha.
It's tough riding a bike too.
Yes, right. That's true.
You got to truss him up.
Special seat.
What a beauty he is. Boy, you watch those documentaries on him. What an evil SOB. Yeah. Johnny, what do you got?
I don't know if I can follow that 3 minutes. Yep. It's cloudy. We've lost a couple degrees. Now we're down to 69 degrees.
Is it ever going to rain, John?
Maybe. They're still saying yes.
Well, it wasn't much, right? What did we get?
I got a bunch
eighth
of
an inch.
I got some up north.
Well, they told us last night, make sure you close your windows because it's going to rain and pour. And I woke up, the sun was up.
They aren't wrong that often these days either. What happened? What happened to the storm? Where'd it go?
It moved.
Or it never formed? I don't know.
Twins' chances of catching the Cleveland Indians in the American League Central took a bit of a hit today.
Yeah.
The Indians acquired lefty Brad Hand and righty
Chaska, Minnesota's own.
That's right. And righty Adam Simber from San Diego. Hand has 24 saves already on the season, pitching for San Diego. The Padres will get highly touted 22-year-old catching prospect Francisco Mejia in the deal. He's been playing in AAA.
Well, Randball, I see, did a blog on this, and, the Twins made that move when they gave up their guy Ramos, but I'd say Brad Hand is a peg or two higher than Matt Cap. So.
I think so.
But that's a comparison you can make there. You hate to give up catching prospects because they're hard to find.
Vikings today signed first-round pick Mike Hughes, who had been their last unsigned draftee. The cornerback selected number 30 overall, 4-year, $9.87 million deal, signing bonus of $5.256 million. He'll have a 2018 salary cap number of $1.794.
So the reason, I'll ask Collar this, we're going to talk to him later, the reason that they don't sign immediately because they're basically locked into a certain total. I wonder, is it the guaranteed money negotiable? I don't know if you sign for 9 something, are you fighting them to get as much of it guaranteed as you want, or why not just sign the next day? Because you got to basically you're not going to get any more than the slot.
Well, hopefully Collar will have the answer to that.
Right. Because you're looking at me and I'm like, I don't know. I can't help you.
Rookie was given give up.
I was just speculating to myself, thinking that a guy's been in the business as long as me should know, but I have no idea,
And I don't feel so bad for not knowing.
British Open today, Kevin Kisner in the lead at 5 under. Xander Lombard, Eric Van Rooyen, Tony Finau, all at 4 under. A bunch of folks tied at 3 under. Then Tiger Woods, if you're wondering, was even for
Eric
the day.
Van Rooyen, ex-golfer, played for the golfer for the Gophers 2009 through 2012. A local guy from South Africa who grew up dreaming of golfing for the Gophers when he grew up in South Africa.
News notes from today. A man charged with killing a woman and her adult son in Otter Tail County has been found incompetent to stand trial. He'll be committed to a secure treatment center in St. Peter. 22-year-old William Hillman will be held at the center until his mental health improves and he's able to take part in legal proceedings against him. He's charged in the deaths of 42-year-old Denise McFadden and 21-year-old Dalton McFadden. They were found fatally beaten at their rural Perham home last April. Authorities say Hillman was released from a mental health commitment in November 2017 after punching his mother and threatening to kill her. He moved in with the McFadsens about 6 weeks before they were killed.
Do we know why they allowed him to move in? Was he a family friend?
He was
trying to be nice to them?
He was a friend of the younger McFadden, the fellow. So, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates said he felt the need to correct the record when he issued that statement Monday, reaffirmed Russian interference in U.S. affairs that seemed to contradict President Trump's claims in his press conference with Vladimir Putin. Coates told NBC's Andrea Mitchell at the Aspen Security Forum in Denver this afternoon, "I was just doing my job." After the president's widely criticized press conference with Putin on Monday, Coates issued a statement declaring the intelligence community has been clear in our assessments of Russian meddling in the 2016 election and their ongoing pervasive efforts to undermine our democracy. The same hour today in which Coates declared Russia to be the most aggressive state actor trying to interfere in U.S. affairs, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the president has now asked National Security Advisor John Bolton to invite Vladimir Putin to the White House this fall.
Don't you remember, Obama used to get a hard time once in a while when he'd take that 2-week vacation to Hawaii. Don't you wish Don would take a 2-week vacation someplace and
he should go on a road trip?
Go silent. Go somewhere.
Right. Take a couple weeks off of Twitter.
Not one of your own resorts. Go to the camp. Go to Camp David for a couple of weeks.
Go to Colorado and go to a dispensary.
Yeah, that's right.
Go back to your room and just melt into the couch.
There's a lot of nice spots out there. You could just get away from it all for a couple of weeks, and we could all enjoy the rest of the summer. Right?
Go to Denver to take weed and take it all week.
Pot.
Yes,
pot.
Take some pot and take it all.
Take the pot.
Smoke the wax.
Does he take the pot? That's what I said yesterday.
I tell you, for a news guy, this has been an exhausting week dealing with those stories from the White House.
Oh, you poor thing. Yes. Do you have calluses?
I do.
But you have to change your underpants halfway through the day because they're so sweaty?
You want to see them?
Let me use this. As the guy said to Greg Popovich about what he's endured, John, what have you endured this week?
That's right.
Yes.
Adrian Joseph Cronauer, the U.S. war veteran portrayed by Robin Williams in the movie Good Morning Vietnam, has died, yes.
I did say that I'm not a Robin Williams fan, but he was very good as Adrian Cronauer.
I was just watching that over the weekend. I watched part of that. It was a great flick.
Were you taking pot?
No, it's a couple of brownies, but
I think he
they
took
had some nuts
pot.
in them.
I think Adrian Cronauer took some pot.
Cronauer was 79. He's a former U.S. Air Force sergeant, co-authored the original story for the comedy drama, which was set in 1965 Saigon. detailed the story of a radio DJ whose antics with news reading, humor, and rock and roll angered his military bosses, but was loved by the troops. Cronauer did much more than that, by the way. The obituary said he served as a confidential advisor to the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense from 2001 to 2009.
Wow.
He represented the POW MIA office at meetings within the Office of the Secretary of Defense and at various outside functions, including as a liaison with leadership of veteran service organizations. He had lead responsibility for DPMO's dealings with international organizations like the Red Cross. For his efforts, he holds the Secretary of Defense Medal for Exceptional Public Service.
Who played the jackass who ran the station in that?
Bruno Kirby was the mid-level.
Yes. He was, but who was above him?
Bruno was the Brad Lane of Good Morning Vietnam.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that is really hurtful.
No, the GM, I don't remember who the boss was. He was the guy that had...
I was actually going to say, when I first started working here in the mid to late 80s, that's exactly what our management was like. Now, you guys sit down there and you discuss
Traffic
topics.
and weather.
And you guys take calls. I want you to take calls. Jesus.
We'll take calls.
Yeah.
Nobody calls.
Let me leave the room first.
Yeah, well, we did until you implemented your Bob Yates philosophy.
Well,
Exactly.
Don't call me a
Roberts, I've assigned you to cover the PC.
He likes to say PC instead of press conference.
And if you do happen to speak with him, please be polite and to the point at all.
Bruno Kirby was so great in that film.
Fantastic.
He's gone too, isn't he?
He is.
Actually, Reuvers,
Yeah.
we started this show. Mackie and I started this show when? 2010.
2010. Yep.
And I think the first day we said, we'll take a couple calls here on the topic. Nobody called, and I said, to hell with it. We haven't taken a call since then.
He's going the Yates line. What's the Yates line?
I don't know.
I don't call you at work.
No,
Don't you call me.
All right, we'll be back. Hey, Johnny Height.
Yes.
What's the greatest thievery of a song in music history?
Greatest thievery.
Somebody,
Look at Led Zeppelin.
Somebody really stole the whole thing from somebody
Like
else.
a lick or a line or
the whole thing, yeah.
Well, Chris brings up a good point.
Yeah.
There's about 6 Led Zeppelin songs they stole and put their names on and paid millions of dollars after the fact because they got sued.
So-
Now we're both going to get hate mail.
Who was, what about Blurred Lines? That was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was. A lot of people didn't, though. They didn't hear it. Marvin
Such
Gaye.
is the Led Zeppelin of the Krabby Coffee Shop. Stealing
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
the Led Zeppelin.
He's the Plant and Page.
Yes, that's right.
I was thinking.
Robert Plant. He's the Robert Plant.
You were talking
Of
about
the
him.
Krabby Coffee Shop.
You're talking about him yesterday, Patrick. How he filled in for you at Cooperstown or something, right? You couldn't make the trip, so he went out and he did the
Oh,
story.
I think he went for St. Paul, but yeah.
And I was thinking at the time, how the great have fallen. He used to actually go on assignments. Now he just sits on his narrow ass and steals ideas from his coworkers and trots them out there as his own. Wow.
Look what you did to the phone lines, John. Way to go.
Oh, Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, blah, 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 blah. We got Defenders.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't say they were bad. I just said
No,
they
I
stole-
love Led
stole a
Zeppelin, but
bunch
they
of
just
stuff.
stole everything.
How many of them are alive?
Plant, Page, all of them except the drummer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, a British artist found with a serious head injury after falling off a bed may have been having sex, according to detectives, but nobody who was in the room can remember, so they're not sure.
It was good.
33-year-old Orlando Campbell was unconscious and bloodied after a fall from the bed in Sicily. He had been drinking with 2 U.S. women, aged 22 and 35, staying at his apartment, and got in bed with the older one, according to police. After he fell, one of them called police. Both fled, though, before officers got there, but they were later quizzed for 12 hours.
12 hours?
12 hours, yes.
Wow.
Cops said the older woman also had suspicious wrist marks that she said were cigarette burns. She later changed her tale to say she cut herself while raising the alarm with police. Police said a sex romp was just one line of inquiry. We're working on the theory, police said, that he fell out of bed, but we need to know what he was doing.
Why? Why can't they mind their own business?
That's right.
Is he dead?
No, just injured.
Well, then just drop it.
Police say everyone was drunk, They say they weren't having sex, but they also say they can't remember much other than finding the man on the floor.
What were the chemicals that were involved here?
Were they taking a bunch of pot?
They're not telling.
Taking pot. They probably
They were on the X.
Yeah,
They were on ecstasy.
Police say they're still investigating.
Don't investigate. Leave it alone.
If he's not complaining, what are they complaining
It's grown
about?
adults having adult fun.
Yes.
It's nobody's business. Plus, his mom's going to find out, and everything's going to go to hell.
A lot of questions about this story. Most aren't answered, though. Police, this is in Lincoln, Nebraska. Police arrested a 39-year-old man for indecent exposure after he approached a woman completely naked in Lincoln. Mm-hmm. The Lincoln Police Department said about 2 in the morning on July 17th, a 54-year-old woman was walking with her friend picking up cigarette butts near 13th and E Street.
Well, that's what I have questions about. Is she a hobo girl?
Well, it's not answered. I found 3 different copies of this story.
She's
none of it
either an
addressed that.
environmentalist or she wanted to smoke a half a cigarette.
She's a
butt.
cheapskate.
Well, at 2 in the morning, you'd assume she probably just wanted a heater, right?
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, maybe the old man won't let her drink in the house and smoke in the house anymore, so she's got to go out and find butts
She
on the street.
sneaks out.
The victims told police a 39-year-old Gene Mashad Jr. approached them completely naked, holding a T-shirt over his swimsuit area. Mm-hmm. Women said they were frightened.
Hey, you got a match?
The women were frightened and ran away and called police. Police found him when they got there. He was given verbal commands but resisted arrest at first, eventually taken into custody without injury, charged with indecent exposure and failure to comply.
He should have just said, "Go Huskers," and they would have let him away, let him leave,
Sergio Hernandez Jr. and his dad arrived home around noon Monday to discover a stranger standing in their backyard. The man claimed to be hiding from a dog, but he hopped a fence when Hernandez noticed the window to his dad's bedroom had been opened. Hernandez chased the man down and brought him back to talk to his father, Sergio Hernandez Sr., who said 3 rooms in their home had been ransacked, so they called police. When the man tried to escape again, Hernandez Jr. threw him to the ground, put him in a triangle chokehold.
Oh.
Why would he know that, you say? He's a professional mixed martial arts fighter.
Oh, bad. That's just misfortune
You're
for
not-
the
yeah.
intruder.
You also give him the, can you smell what the rock is cooking?
He picked the wrong house, Patrick, is what you're saying.
That was the rock. That was his move. He'd get on top of the dude and say, can you smell what the rock
Are
is
you
cooking?
taking the pot right now?
That was Rock's go-to line.
I could have done without the body movement to accompany it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so he thrusts his crotch in him?
Yeah, I don't remember. I only heard.
Hernandez Jr. had to hold him down for about half an hour before police got there, but the man was arrested, 21-year-old Fernando Placencia, on suspicion of burglary.
John,
Yes.
that's enough.
Okay.
Oh, let's leave early. Woo-hoo.
To repeat, our friend Doug Hennes died this morning, St. Thomas. His title over there was Vice President for University and Government Relations. He left the Pioneer Press in 1990. He was just a kid, man, when he was the city editor then. He was a city editor there for 5 or 6 years, so he's 30 years old when he got that job at the Pioneer Press. I worked over there with him, and out of nowhere, he was at work yesterday at St. Thomas doing fine, and his wife said that there were no apparent health problems. He died this morning, age 63, and everybody in the Twin Cities media who knew him, knows him, is very upset by this, and for good reason. He was a good guy.
Yeah, that's too bad. In 63, obviously it's a cliche, way too young, but
Yep.
he was just, it sounded like he was just one of the good guys.
Yeah, he was. He was, and he was really invested in St. Thomas football the last few. I mean, I'd see him all the time. He would kind of write he would write the game story basically because Gene McGivern was tied up doing all the other sports they have over there, and Gene would be there too. But Dougie would kind of make sure that he kind of had the staff doing stuff for him, and they kept it going, and it was. I'm sure they're very shook up over at St. Thomas today. That's for sure, and everybody who worked with him at the Pioneer Press is shook up too. I saw Catherine Lanphier was quoted about the late '80s. Those were pretty good days at the Pioneer Press. They won the Pulitzer Prize, a couple of Pulitzer Prizes, and it was a fully staffed newsroom back then.
Yeah, I seen AIDS Story in '85 and another. And
the farms. John Camps did the farm.
That's right.
When we were undergoing the farm crisis, and John Camp won the Pulitzer Prize for the farm series, and then Jackie Banazinski won it with the help of several people for the AIDS series. So they won 2 and 3 years, 2 and 4 years, something like that, which is pretty amazing. For
not to rush you, but I think we deserve a ride preview because you had some difficulties putting it together early, or is it just going to be you wait and see? You are going to be entertained.
We lost the chance to have Clinton Moore, a motorcyclist from the X Games. He was going to be our guest at 4:30. He got hurt today in practice. And jumping up in the air in those motorcycles, that can happen to a fella. I hope he just sprained his ankle or some damn thing.
We'll wait for a future interview on the ride.
We'll have a fine show today, and I'll be starting to plan it here shortly.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis. Wait up for the